Well, hello, Minul from AXUS. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Good afternoon. How are you, Gary?
Yeah, I'm a little bit intimidated because I know you're a podcast wizard and you've been on loads. Uh,
This is the first podcast I've ever done, so
yeah, we were talking about it, and I said, I've seen you at your head office and presentations and paint shows, and you're the most confident guy I know, so it'd be a breeze.
do you know what? There's something a little bit different about doing something in person and doing it on a call like this. So we'll see what happens now.
No, nice and easy. So you're working from home today, are you?
No, I'm actually so I don't know if you know, but we've actually got a shop, Axe. So we've got a store in northwest London, and I'm in the office that's just above the shop at the moment.
Yeah, I do. I've been to that store. What's that Irish paint you stock? Because
Color Trend.
yeah, because I worked for a customer for many years in St Albans, and he'd always be going down to your shop getting colour trends, and that was the first time I'd used it. But amazing paint.
Yeah, it is. It is very durable. Coverage is really good as well.
Yeah. So more onto your side. Access. I mean, I know quite a bit about you guys, but obviously, where did it all start? Did it start with setting up a shop?
Kind of. I'll probably don't know how much I'm going to bore you with the history of it all, but I'll give it a go, and then
We can
we'll
we can edit it out, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, that's it. Probably already all started with my grandfather. His name was Ramal. He was born in India, in a little village in the north of India in Gujarat, and I think 1930s he moved over to Mombasa in Kenya, and he worked there for a little while, saved a little bit of money, and he moved to Nairobi. And he actually, with all his savings, he opened up a little hardware store. That was called Arrow General in the city centre of Nairobi. I remember my dad telling me how he used to sort of help him out in the shop and just cleaning up and tidying up and things like that. So as a young boy, that's I guess the entry into the construction industry in general. And then he basically sent my dad over to the UK to study. He basically spent everything he had on my dad's education. He went to uni here. Um, and my dad kind of came over, and he saw a lot more opportunity here. So that eventually the whole family came over. We didn't have a shop over here, but my dad's brother Jay, he's still very much involved in the business. You might have met him before. He was the real businessman, I guess, in the family, and he had ideas about starting his own business. And at the time, he worked for MFI, the old furniture company. I
I
think
remember MFI. That's a name from years back.
that's it. And I think the story goes something like this: that one day he was just, I think they had a new uniform policy, and he didn't have a uniform, so they asked him to wear, I think, an ex-employee's unwashed uniform. And that was, I think, the catalyst. So he said,
Yeah,
right, I've had enough. I'm starting my own business.
yeah.
And so I think they pulled together whatever money they had in the family, and we opened up a shop, and that's in Kingsbury, northwest London. That was like it started out as a DIY shop, really, and then ICI. So the then ICI, Dulux basically, Dulux Trade, they approached him in I think 1975 or so, like a year after they opened the shop, and they were looking for a distributor, stockist, and they offered an eye-watering buy one get one free deal. So they basically spent everything they had on paint.
Yeah.
So that's basically where it started, and then that was the first journey into paint. My my mum was looking for work at the time, so she joined my uncle Jay as well, and then that was it. The shop it did well. I think from then on, we opened it up another shop a couple of years later. And I think over the next couple of decades, we just started growing those businesses, talking to painters every single day, until the 90s, where we settled into two shops that we kind of kept for a long time. One is where I am right now in Mill Hill, and the other one was in Stanmore, which we closed down last year to put a bit more focus on the Axis brand. Um, so I'm going on a bit now, but as I said, there's a little bit of history behind it, but it all leads to Axis because ultimately, all of these years, ideas have been forming. We've been talking to decorators. The whole family had been talking to decorators. I might not have been working there at the time. I was a young boy, but I'd been in summer holidays, weekends, and I enjoyed talking to painters even as a teenager. So I learned quite a lot. And then I joined the business kind of 2004, and together with Jay, we started we started introducing the Axis brand, and we said, what more can we do than just having a shop? And Gary, with every family business, as you pass it down to the generations, there are more mouths to feed. And we had to, what more can we do? And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said, so I think the first thing was just a paintbrush, our own paintbrush. It wasn't called Axis at the time, actually. It was Apollo. I think, the name of it was Apollo, but it's the same brush that we still sell today. Yeah, it's a blue filament.
I
When
know
you
them. I know the ones you mean.
Yep. So that's the
Yeah.
original Axis brush, and it's called the Pro Finish today, and that was where we started with it. But um, Axis grew basically from ideas that had been forming all along. We've been speaking to painters for all those decades, and we just I think Jay saw it as a good opportunity, and with the next generation involved, there was enough sort of resource to go ahead and do it properly.
I mean, I was looking, like I said, on your website beforehand, and we know a lot about your products, but it's really vast now, isn't it? I mean, how many ranges do you have, or have you lost count?
No, so we do a good, a wide range. The idea is we trade across different categories within the decorating space, taking out paint itself, everything from a sundries perspective, everything from workwear to protecting your surfaces, preparation tools, obviously paint application, brushes and rollers, wallpaper tools, abrasives. I mean, we do a wide range of products, but a lot of decorators don't know us for all of those things. So, as you said,
No,
yeah.
no. There was a couple that come to my mind, and I know some of it's quite new. So abrasives was one. Well, you've disappeared on me.
Sorry, there, lost you there for a sec.
You're back. We can edit that bit out. So yeah, I was looking at your website. So a couple which stood out to me, well, people might not be aware of, is abrasives. Is that relatively new?
Yeah, so we dabbled in abrasives many years ago, and I think one of the things about us is we'll bring a product to market, and then it will be there for a while, and then we want to have the very best product in that category. So we had abrasives all along, but what now makes us stand out in that category is we have an abrasive which is superior to most abrasives on the market. It's a purple colored abrasive
Yeah,
uh,
seen it.
called Aristox, yeah. Um, and yeah, that's what's kind of highlighted us as a producer of abrasives. The Me Too everyday aluminium oxide stuff, it's not gonna give us any fame really. So we said let's get something that's really really good out there, and we took time to develop it. But yeah, abrasives is something it's being more well known, and you'll see more of a focus on that this year as we're expanding the type of abrasives that we do.
Yeah. Another one that stood out, and I've used them, is your tape and protection. Your tape's very, very good.
Thank you.
Um, do you feel that's sort of people know about it enough, or is it still relatively new?
No, not enough. I mean, it's again, it's one of those categories which we did quite well with last year. So I think the year before last, not a lot of people knew about our tapes, but we put a bit more focus on it, and talked about it a bit more on socials, in stores. Now our tapes are out there. You can get hold of them a bit more easily as well. I think the thing is, you can have a lot of product. You can have the best products in the world, and they can do a fantastic job and solve a lot of problems. But if it's hard to focus on everything at the same time, so you've got to kind of just pick things that you want to focus on for the year, and then let people know about them.
Yeah, you like you say, if you were to promote all your tools and all your accessories and sundries, it's just you'd be far too scattered.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm known as a tape tart in my community, and they are good tapes. They're very good. Couple other points as well. Obviously, your silk touch brushes are fantastic. Spoken about a ton in the communities. I remember seeing you a couple of years ago, I believe. Would that be right? And they've sort of come out a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I
Slightly.
think you came to see us up around 2023, I think. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So they're great brushes. And also one I've tried recently was the Pure Flow Ultra for woodwork, um, which provides a really great finish.
Thank you. And that's exactly what we tried to develop with that product and with the Silk Touch Ultra. Um, a lot of people think that you can just bring a product to market quite easily, but both of those products took years to develop.
Did they? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So who comes up with the concept of new products? Who is it? Just between you guys from hearing people, chatting to people at shows, and do you
So
just spot gaps in the market where there's room for improvement?
do you know what? A lot of these ideas, they're there without knowing they're there sometimes. As I said, I grew up around a paint shop. Um, I still talk to painters and decorators regularly. And this Saturday, I'll be literally on the shop floor. Half my day will be speaking to decorators. Now, ideas form without even trying to create product ideas. They just people will highlight frustrations, and I like being close to that. I mean, just take an example. Our flexible bowl for filler, the flexi bowl that we launched. Now that yeah, it's not a complicated product. It's a very simple product. But and there have been bowls in the past, but what we were hearing from people is there's nothing really flexible enough that will do the job. So did we, sit in a boardroom for hours and hours and think about this product? No. It was there. The idea was there. We just needed to push the button on it. So a lot of the ideas just come from general casual conversations. Um,
Yeah, but it's kind of like looking outside the box is not always easy, is it? Because like before I set up Brush Wizards, I'd go to my local shop and I'd be a crown man. I'd get the same brushes, same rollers. I started Brush Wizards and people were talking about half primers and Tickerilla and all these products. I'm like, I just, I was quickly Googling what the hell are these products? I just didn't know. And
yeah,
it's only when you kind of expand your brain and look at stuff differently. I didn't realize how huge like the decorating world was. And I'd never been to a paint show before. And it's only since starting Brush Wizards, but I've just seen how vast it is. So you do have to come up with something a little bit different to make headway, don't you?
yeah, you do. But sometimes it's just it's just understanding what problems we're trying to solve. If you have that kind of with in your head already, then the ideas start to flow naturally. And you asked sort of who's involved, and where do the ideas come from? The origin of the idea, yes, will come from the painters and decorators, but then we have to take that and turn that into a product. And I get, it's a family business. There's not many of us, so we don't have layers and layers of red tape for a product to surface. If we think something's got value to it, me and really some of my cousins and my brother will sit down because there's sort of three, four of us really involved in it. We'll sit down in a room and say, "What do you think?" And if everyone's in agreement, right, let's build a timeline. How can we get this to market? It is quite straightforward, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. Because the flex scuttles as well, which is new. Um, and again, another brilliant idea, isn't it? Because there's always a problem. Obviously, you got a waste problem if you use scuttle liners. if you don't use any liners, it never dries kind of in your scuttle. So what you've produced is brilliant, the way it dries out, and you can just scrunch it up and get rid of dry paint. No one else has done it, have they?
No, no. And again, I don't think it's that difficult to concept as a product, but it solves a problem. What I will say is that I'm kind of going to contradict myself a little bit. When I say it's not that difficult, getting the quality right to make it do that job properly is not straightforward, and that's why it takes time. Because we still must have gone through, I don't know, 30 to 40 pre-production versions of that before we came up with a silicon liner that we were happy with, that nothing sticks to. I mean, you can put, like your shellac primers on that, and it won't stick to it. But the earlier versions did, so we had to develop a special coating for it that basically makes it work in that way. So it does take some development work.
Yeah, sure. A lot of the products we're talking about, are they in, obviously, I know you're in a ton of independents, are they in all the major merchants? Um,
So it varies. So different stores carry different things.
okay.
So when someone says, who stocks Axis, most shops, paint shops, in some way stock Axis, but it's just what do they keep? You can obviously go on our website, and we have a product. We have a store locator where you can filter it by product range. But we deal with a lot of independents. We deal with your Brewers, Dulux. We deal with Crown. We don't do very much. The only one, the exception I would say at this stage that we don't do a lot with is out of the big four. I guess would be Johnston's Decorator Centres. But we'll see that change over time.
Yeah,
So
well, it's on the podcast now and everyone's going to hear it.
yeah,
I've just got to
um,
get more subscribers, but no, I mean, you know, um, it's great for companies like yourself to come on and just, a face to kind of the brand. And obviously lots of people must see you at the paint shows and stuff, but it is nice to understand your backstory. And I have admiration for people and families that are successful.
thank you, thank you.
So other stuff, again, your website, we can put a link to it, and that shows all your product ranges and stuff. Pretty Boy, is it Uncle Brian? I see
Uncle
him
Brian,
everywhere.
yeah, Uncle B, you'll see him, yeah, all over the
Yeah.
place.
So you're a distributor of Pretty Boy, is that right?
Yeah, we are. So we
Yeah.
distribute Pretty Boy for Brian in the UK and Ireland, um, which is his strongest market. So, yeah, since we've taken over distribution of it, he does better in the UK than he does anywhere, better than his domestic market in the US even. Mm, the product works really well with UK paints, basically, and that's why it does. But I was skeptical. I'm going to be honest with you, right? When we took on that brand, it didn't come with just. Just how the story goes that he met us. I think it was one of the decorating shows. Gave me this sample, and I said, "This is just washing up liquid in a bottle. I go, this stuff is just what are you pulling the wool over me?" And but I had some cleanup to do the following day. So I thought he was just sitting there, the sample he gave me. So I thought, let me give it a go. I, as advised, put it a little bit into a bucket, let it soak for a little, let the brushes and rollers soak for a little while. And I noticed the difference quite considerably. So I called him up and I said, Brian, have you left? He's going back to America. I said, let's catch up. Let's grab a bite, and yeah, I guess the rest is history. And we said let's take it.
It's just, took the UK by storm, isn't it? Because you just see it everywhere. But, I've never met him or spoke to him, but, as a character, he seems great. His little tours he does of the UK, and seems a really top bloke.
Yeah, no, no, it is, and he adds a little bit of a different flavour going on here, I guess. Plus, we do a bit of business in the US, and we're trying to do a bit more over there. And I've been over to he does a paint fest over
Yeah, I've seen.
Yeah, so we went to the one over in Buffalo, New York, recently, and that was good fun. And we're creating a little bit more of a connection, I think, between the US market and the European market, which I think we can all learn from each other, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you did you distribute anywhere else? Do you distribute in Europe, or is it just UK and America?
So US, Canada, and the UK. So in Europe, we actually have a presence, a significantly good presence in Romania, and we are expanding that. That's one of our sort of plans for going in over the next few years, really, to expand into Europe a little bit more. Um, but no, not we do have random exports to other places like the Falkland Islands and yeah, Malta and things like that. But not. I would say international. Being an international brand is probably one of our ambitions. I wouldn't say we're quite there yet. America, we most of the work we do there at the moment is for a brand called All Pro. Now they're a buying group in America, and we make for products for them. Earlier this year, sorry, not this year. It's already the next year. Sorry, 2025.
Where we are.
Our first customer with a good range of access in the US as well, which they're Meldrums in New York State. They've got around 7 stores, so that's our first kind of like real push into the US market.
Yeah, that's great. And what products are you predominantly pushing out there? Just a few sort of core ranges, or
Yeah, so our best sellers. So remember, I said I'd like to have kind of like the best products in each category, really. So yeah, the best of each bit. So the abrasives that are really good, the razor tapes that you mentioned earlier, Silk Touch Ultra brushes, Pure Flow, and the workwear. And we're launching a new range of workwear, but we've that's actually been available in the US for a year now.
yeah, yeah. I see the new trousers which you were showing at the paint show, which look really nice.
Yep, yep. So they'll be available very soon in the next few weeks, really, to buy. So, but we've tried and tested them over in the US market, and feedback's been amazing. So, can't wait to get them going over here.
Yeah. Weird question, but in America, for like your scuttle liners, do they have the same setup, same kind of scuttles, all different?
We That's the one product which we haven't sold over there because the buckets are different.
Yeah,
Um, they don't use the same sort of scuttles we do, and in fact, they use a lot of trays out there.
really.
Yeah, they use a lot of large trays. So we don't, unless we develop a range specifically for that market, which may come in time, we can't really sell liners out there yet.
Yeah. Um, Another one on your list is Alpha, which is must be the number one product um, for knives and stuff. Another great product which you distribute.
Yeah, that's it. So we distribute. So Axis is us. That's our
Yeah,
main one, and then we distribute three other brands. Pretty Boy you've mentioned, Alpha's the second one, and the third one is called Mardom Decor, which I can speak to you about in a bit if you like as
yeah,
well.
please, yeah,
But Alpha was the first brand that wasn't ours that we started distributing. We must have launched this, I don't know, around about 2011 in the UK. Now, Alpha has been about since the 50s, but it never really taken off in the UK, and I think no one had really given it the attention it deserved, to be honest, or tried to sell it. So we saw potential in the brand. We'd obviously tested the product. We knew how good the product was. We had a bit of a customer base, and we said we think we can do something with this. So we took it on board, and we've never looked back because you know the reputation that Alpha has. The blades are second to none, and others have tried to come into the market with blades that are claiming they're black looking blades and they're as sharp and they're not. But you can try and imitate, but every lab test we've done, Alpha outperforms the competition many times over.
Yeah, there was a show, I don't believe last year or the year before I saw it, where he was selling like a set of Ulfa or displaying it. So it come in like a pack of different blades and stuff. It was like a set, and people were going crazy over it. They, you've got some, yes,
Are we talking about that one?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's the set. This is something which actually someone just won one of these on a recent I think Instagram competition. But yeah, these things people go mad for them. Um, it's just a lovely set.
100%. And yeah, interested to know about your other one you mentioned.
And Mardon.
Yeah, Marden. Yeah.
Mardon is a little bit different to everything else that we do. It's actually a range of architectural moldings, so coving, wall paneling. So I guess wall paneling is quite a popular thing these days as a sort of substitute for wallpaper maybe. Um, Skirting boards, that sort of thing, all quite decorative. Um, and we have a history in actually doing a range of this sort of product before, so we do know about it. We had a range called Artline Decor many years ago, and did quite well for us. But um, we basically moved over to this Mardon brand because it's very on trend. The quality is amazing, and we do think there's a bit of a market for decorators to be able to use this type of product, install this type of product, and get added and gain some extra value in the work that they do.
So, like you say, paneling is very, very popular. How does it come? Does it come as a pack or how does it work?
So it comes in strips. So you just order, if you've got a wall, you'll order as many strips as you need to fill up that wall. To be honest, it's dead simple. It's the only bit you need to you trim it to the right height for the section you're doing. But apart from that, just adhesive and sticks onto the wall. Fairly easy to install. With the coving and all of that, the only thing you've got to be careful about is how you miter it and join it. Uh, but the effect can be quite powerful, and especially a lot of people are doing sort of paneled sections on walls now with wallpaper in those panels and things like that. That can look really good, and if you're a painter decorator and you say I can do all of that, it can really add value to the job.
Yeah, I always say that to painters. Like I always kind of ended up specialising in hand painted kitchens and earned more money from it. And like you say, if you can do something different, offer different services, which not just painting a bedroom, for example, you're going to command more money. And that's a really interesting one. I'm going to look at it more. I did have a quick look before we come on. It looks really quality.
Yeah.
So, like you say, if you can add it to your CV, um, with regards to mitering, do you have the tools for it, or is that not something you sell?
We do like a mitre box and things like that. In terms of the other equipment you might need, in terms of saws and all that, there's nothing special or unique you need about it. And the material's really easy to cut. A fine tooth saw will do the job very well. Chop saw, it's it's easy to fill and you fill and join it as you would kind of with working with any other sort of filler as well. So it's not a steep learning curve, to be honest. And we've got loads of YouTube videos and how to do it and all of that as well. So if anyone wants to learn about it, get in touch.
Well, I'll get all the links off you. So along with our show notes. So this
Yeah.
is all new stuff to me. We'll get it put on so people got the links to order it. Um, but yeah, really interesting. So what's your plan? Like I say, we've creeped into 26 somehow. What's your plan for
Yeah, we
this
have,
year?
haven't
Your
we?
workwear. Have you got
Yeah.
anything else coming up, or is it all top secret?
I mean, we do have the workwear which we talked about, the Flex Tex, which will launch next month. And I mentioned to you earlier, abrasives. We're going to definitely be expanding on the abrasive range for later in the year. Um, the thing is if I look at so we have a list of ideas, right? And I'm not talking I'm talking ideas that have managed to make a written list because they're things we want to do. And if I look at a list, there are 121 ideas on that list. Okay,
Oh, wow.
right. And as I said, these have all come from decorators, various different places, and we've got ideas, and there's potentially, all of them could have some success, and it is tempting to just launch everything and say, let's go do this, let's go do that. But I guess, there's kind of a few things holding us back. First is getting the product absolutely right. These things do take time. You'd never want to rush a product to market. So we want to get real world testing with painters, make sure it does what it's meant to do. And I said it earlier, you can't focus on everything. So, even if it's just marketing, sales, it needs dedication. So you have to be selective. And apart from that, if all we did was just develop new products, I don't think I'd ever see my family. So, I mean, I do, yeah, I don't want to have the laptop out after I get home the whole evening. So, yeah, there needs to be a little bit of control. Yeah, exactly. So,
Where do you feel there is a potential gap, or is that given it? No, you probably can't say it, can you? Because your competitors might be like, "Oh, I'll jump on it." But I'm just trying to figure out aloud now. You've got so many products. You've covered a lot of areas. Um, Perhaps it's a conversation for another day when you send something out.
I mean, there are gaps in the market, but it's not like they're complete gaps. Like most, there's generally a product that does most things. So it's
Yeah,
now, how do you make that process that little bit better, and that little bit, that make something cover faster, or make it less tiring for you. And for example, with the abrasives, that was what it is. Yeah, of course, you've got sandpaper that sands well, but how do you make it so if you are hand sanding, it's going to reduce the amount of effort you need to put in? And that's why we introduced the Aristox, because it's a ceramic mineral in it which cuts the surface more quickly. So things like that. There's things, it's just, I would say at this stage, it's improvement on existing things than brand new things. However, I will reveal a little bit, because I will say that we mentioned other brands that we're working with. Uh, Pretty Boy is one of those. So, let's keep your eyes out, because keep looking, because I think we might expand the Pretty Boy range with Uncle B at some point in time this year as well.
sounds amazing.
So there's that. New products, yeah, like I said, that's not, yeah, not nothing else other than what I've spoken to at the moment. But I think, as I said, we want to focus on consolidating what we do have, and just shouting about it a little bit more, letting people know that these great products do exist. Do go and try them out, and also growing internationally. I'd say that's where we're heading this year.
Brilliant. We spoke yesterday briefly, and we talked about events and paint shows and trade days and regional events. And I explained what we're going to be doing more of for this year going forward, and attending events and promoting it. So I'm really looking forward to promoting where you're at as well. So lots to come on that front, isn't there? Because I think collectively we just need to really promote these shows. Like Brewers have started regional events. I've been to a few over the last couple of years, and they're really a great setup. Lots of exhibitors. So I'll be looking forward to seeing you all guys on the road.
I think these local events are really good. I just don't think enough people know about them.
That's
And
right.
so, yeah, if we can tell people that, AXUS are going to be, I don't know, in Nottingham on the 22nd of February or whatever it might be, and let people know, we should get a better turnout. And one thing I have noticed, I think the trade is becoming a little bit, maybe it's driven by social media, but it's becoming more social like that. And there's more of a community feel than there ever has been before.
Yeah.
And I think people are recognizing that it's nice to go and meet other people in the trade, to talk to other people in the trade. It's not just about grabbing a freebie or getting a deal. There's more to it than that. And we're seeing that, and we want to do more of it. So I think you'll see us at more events this year, and we will be certainly letting you know, so you
Yeah.
can tell everyone else where to find Access.
100%. And, that's what we found. and that's what's, over Christmas, bit of downtime. And I'm like, right, what can we do? Not different, but what can we do more of? And that's the number one thing that come to me is just connecting with more people. When I meet brush wizards at shows, it's so nice to see people in person, and I think that's what it's all about. And in between, speak to companies like yourself, learn more about your products. And what I have found is everyone is so approachable. All the companies are great. It's a nice community.
You know what? That's very true. And one thing about this industry is it's very well connected. So I mean, I can be talking to another manufacturer today, could be talking to you, and then tomorrow I'll be talking to someone who runs a store or owns a store, and then straight after that talking to painters in the shop downstairs, and it all flows very well, and the banter's always good. It's a very pleasant industry to work in, and you'll find people don't move around that much. They don't bounce out in and out of the industry. I mean, even take sales reps and sales teams. When they are in the paint industry, they tend to stay there, and I think the reason that drives that more than anything is the people in the community.
Yeah. No, I'm just so happy I set up Brush Wizards. Well, I think about 5 years ago now. So it's
Yeah, we've
yes,
been working with you for 5 years, and it's been a pleasure.
yeah, 100%. Well, I appreciate your time. No
Thank
doubt
you
you've
very
got
much.
lots and
I
lots to.
didn't bore the socks off you.
No, not at all. Honestly, it's really interesting. The backstories are interesting. How you set up, where you're going now, all your products. They're rest assured in my community. They're spoken about very, very highly. So you're doing something right.
Well, glad to hear it.
And yeah, have enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much.
All
Take
right,
care, Gary. Bye
take care.
bye.